Hi, good day. This is Miss LM and we're back again with another math video, and today we're going to talk about perpendicular bisectors of a triangle. So, as I've said from our previous video, hindi lamang vertices, angles, and sides ang parts ng triangle. So, we can also have another segments na meron sa isang triangle. So, isa na dyan ay itong perpendicular bisectors. So, ano nga ba ang perpendicular bisectors? In this lesson, we have these objectives. First is to illustrate and construct perpendicular bisector of a triangle. Next is define perpendicular bisector of a triangle. And then the last one is solve for the missing values using perpendicular bisector of a triangle. So, let's begin our discussion with this question. What's your idea about perpendicular bisector of a triangle? Or what comes first into your mind when you hear the words perpendicular and bisector? So, di ba, pag sinabi nating perpendicular, natatandaan pa ba? Yan ay may 90 degrees. And pag sinabing bisector, ano naman ang natatandaan natin dyan? Pag sinabing bisector, di-divide niya into two congruent parts. So, ano nga kaya ang perpendicular bisectors ng isang triangle? So, let's have our first objective for today. We're going to construct the perpendicular bisectors of a triangle. So, for our task number 1, get ready and get your pen or pencil, notebook, protractor, and ruler. And kung meron kayong compass, kunin nyo na rin po. Okay, so nakuha niyo na ba ang inyong pencil, notebook, protractor, ruler, or compass? So let's now begin our step-by-step procedure on how to construct perpendicular bisectors of a triangle. So first, we have to draw a triangle and label it triangle JME. Okay? Draw a triangle and label it triangle JME. So, while you are doing your triangle using your ruler and your pencil, make sure na rin po na lalagyan nyo na ng measurement para on our step number 3, hindi na kayo mahirapan. Again, lagyan nyo na rin ng measurement since gumagamit naman na kayo ng inyong ruler. So, construct or draw a triangle, label it triangle JME, and as much as possible, may measurement na, which is our step number 3, measure each side of the triangle. So, lagyan na natin ng sukat or isulat nyo yung measurement ng bawat side na yan. Okay? Side JE, side ME, and side JM. Paki-measure na po. Ayan. Okay, next, let's have our step number 4. And since nakuha na natin yung measurements ng bawat side, now we're going to find and mark the midpoint of each side. Again, pag sinabi pong midpoint, ito po yung mga points nandun mismo sa gitna ng bawat side. So, how are we going to find out kung alin yung midpoint? Kanina po, dun sa measurement, nakuha na natin, now we're going to divide it by 2. So, pag na-divide nyo yun by 2, ibig sabihin po nun, mahahanap nyo na yung midpoint. And at the same time, ito pong segments na to ay mahahati into 2 congruent portion. So, itong from point J to this midpoint and from point M to this midpoint ay congruent, and same goes with the other sides. Okay? So, find and mark the midpoint of each side. Yung measurement kanina, i-divide nyo by 2 para mahanap si midpoint. Okay, next, pag nahanap na ang midpoint, draw a segment, a line, or a ray that is perpendicular to the segment JE at its midpoint. So, perpendicular daw from this side, side JE, at its midpoint. So, dito mag-uumpisa or dito natin hahanapin yung pagka-perpendicular niya. At ano po ba pag sinabing perpendicular? Pag sinabi pong perpendicular, ay may 90 degrees. At paano natin malalaman kung 90 degrees? Siyempre, kailangan natin ng protractor. Okay, so yung protractor, ilalapat ulit natin siya dun sa side, side JE. And then, yung 90 degrees ay itatapat dun sa midpoint. Okay? So, pag naitapat na, lalagyan na natin yan ng palatandaan, and then kunin ang ruler, tanggalin ang protractor, then draw the line. So, that's the first perpendicular bisector of this triangle. Okay, now let's have our step number 6. So, again, line segment ulit or segment or ray that is perpendicular to the segment JM. So, ito yung ating side JM at its midpoint daw. So, dito ulit natin kukunin yung 90 degrees at magdodraw tayo ng line. So, kunin ulit ang protractor, itapat yung 0 na line dun sa ating side JM, and then yung 90 degrees dun sa midpoint, at huwag kalimutang maglagay ng markings kung nasan yung midpoint na yon Pag nalagyan na ng markings, pwede nang tanggalin yung protractor and then saka tayo mag-draw noong line segment. And that's another perpendicular bisector of this triangle JME. Then for the last step, doon naman tayo sa pinaka-last natin na side ME. Ganun ulit yung process, kunin yung protractor, ilapat siya at itapat yung 0 dun sa side ME at yung 90 degree nung protractor ay nasa midpoint. Okay, so para matandaan natin kung nasan yung 90 degrees na yun, lagyan natin ng tuldok or ng any markings. Then, pwede na natin alisin yung protractor, then draw na tayo ng line segment using a ruler. And now, ito na yung na-form na tatlong perpendicular bisectors. So, dun pa lang sa word, alam na natin yung mga possible natin na pwedeng isolve. Perpendicular means 90 degrees, so yung mga degree angle na yan ay 90 degrees. And then, pag sinabing midpoint, ibig sabihin, these sides or these portions of the sides are congruent. Okay? So, what can you say about the segments that have drawn? Okay. So, ano nga ba ang masasabi natin dyan? At ang tawag natin dyan ay ang perpendicular bisector. A triangle has three perpendicular bisectors. So, kagaya ng medians, kagaya ng altitudes, perpendicular bisector din ay tatlo din ang mafu-form natin sa isang triangle. Now, before we proceed to another slide, so let me share to you this short video clip on how we can make the perpendicular bisectors using compass. Okay? So, let's watch this video first before we go to our next slide. Okay? Okay, so here we have this compass that we need to use and we need to put it, the pointy end, on the end point of the line. And then, yung opening ng compass, kailangan lagpas lang ng kaunti sa kalahati. Then, we're going to make an arc above and below the line. And then, flip natin yung ating compass. Ganun ulit, yung pointy end, ilalagay po ulit sa end point ng line. Then, walang babaguhin sa opening. Then, draw the arc above and below the line. So, dito, makakapag-form na tayo ng perpendicular bisector. So, kunin natin yung ruler, itapat natin dun sa point of intersections above and below para sure tayo na tama yung ating mapaglalagyan or maidodraw na perpendicular bisector. So, kapag sakto na, yan, pwede na natin siyang lagyan ng line. Okay? Perpendicular bisector. So, that means, ayan, nahati niya into two congruent portion yung line, and then, perpendicular siya, meaning, meron tayong 90 degrees. So, yung na-form na angle dyan ay 90 degrees. Okay? So, that's how we draw perpendicular bisector. Okay, dito naman tayo sa triangle. We're going to make the perpendicular bisectors of each side. So, yung compass natin ang unang gagamitin. Lagay yung pointy end doon sa end point or sa vertex of the side. And then, yung opening ng compass, iset natin ng lagpas lang ng bahagya sa kalahati. Then, we have to draw the arc outside and inside the triangle or above and below the line. Okay? So, after that, flip natin yung compass, walang babaguhin sa opening ng compass, and then yung pointy end, dun ulit siya sa end point, sa another end point ng side ng triangle. Then, draw ulit ng arc outside and inside the triangle or above and below the line. Okay, so arc lang tayo dyan. Now, magkakaroon yan ng point of intersection at yun yung hahanapin natin using the ruler. Itatapat doon yung ruler natin para malinaw kung alin ang magiging perpendicular bisector. So, by the point of intersections of those arcs, makakapag-form tayo ng perpendicular bisector. Okay? So, ayan na po. Ibig sabihin, ng perpendicular bisector, nahahati niya into two congruent parts yung side, and at the same time, yung angle na na-form by the side and then the line segment is perpendicular or 90 degrees. So, remove lang natin yung mga excess na arcs para mas malinaw po kung alin ang perpendicular bisector natin. Okay, so that's the perpendicular bisector from the first side. Proceed tayo sa second side. Same step to follow. Gamitin yung compass. Ilagay yung pointy end doon sa end point ng side. Then yung opening ng compass, pwedeng ipaliitin ng bahagya, lagpas ng kaunti sa middle or midpoint noong side. Then draw the arc above and below the line. Okay? Or inside and outside the triangle. So, same step lang po. Flip natin yung compass, walang babaguhin sa opening na naiset natin, and then yung pointy end lagay dun sa end point. Then, what to do next is to draw the arc. Make sure lang po na yung end point ay nandun talaga, or yung pointy end ay nandun talaga sa end point ng triangle. So, arc tayo dun sa labas, and then sa loob ng triangle. Then, meron ngayong point of intersections ng mga arcs. At yun ulit, yung lalagyan ng ruler. Ayan. Para mas malinaw kung alin ang perpendicular bisector ng side na ito ng triangle. Okay? So, rotate lang natin ng bahagya yung ruler para maging tapat siya or makita natin kung alin yung talagang intersection ng arcs. So, after nating mahanap, draw na tayo ng perpendicular bisector. Okay? So, ayan ulit, nahati niya yung side ng triangle na iyon, and at the same time, nakapag-form ng 90-degree angle. So, next step is to remove those arcs. Okay? So, remove natin para malinaw na makita natin kung alin ang perpendicular bisector. Now, for the last side, again, same step. Ayan. So, ikot-ikot natin yung compass kung saan tayo mas magiging komportable. So, i-flip ulit natin yung compass na yan. Okay. Okay. Ilipat natin yan kasi medyo mahirap. Ikot natin. Okay. And then, flip. Now, yung pointy end, ilagay po ulit dun sa vertex ng triangle or endpoint ng side. Then, the opening po, ibuka natin ng konti yung compass kasi kailangan lagpas ng konti dun sa midpoint ng side na yon. Then, after that, ayan, endpoint is nandun sa pointy end or yung point end nandun sa endpoint. After that, draw the arc na. Inside and outside or above and below the line. Okay? So, flip tayo. Same steps po dun sa kabilang side or kabilang vertex. Yung pointy end po, ilalagay dun sa end point. Then, walang gagalawin sa opening. Draw na ng arc. Ayan. And then, ayan. Naging semicircle na po yung drawing. Okay? But it's okay naman po. Then, after the compass, kukunin naman natin ay ang ruler. Okay? So, kunin natin yung ruler. And then, i-rotate natin ng bahagya para makita natin yung intersections ng mga arcs or ng semicircle. Then, makakapag-draw na tayo ng perpendicular bisector for that side. Okay? So, itapat natin. And then, pag nakita na natin ng mas maayos, pwede na tayong mag-draw ng perpendicular bisector. So, straight line that divides the sides into two congruent parts, and also it forms 90-degree angle. Okay? So, delete na ulit yung mga excess na arcs. And then, ayan na ngayon yung tatlong perpendicular bisector of this triangle. Okay? Okay, so ngayon, alam na natin paano tayo makakapag-construct ng perpendicular bisectors ng triangle. So, we can use protractor and ruler para mahanap natin yung 90 degrees. But, doon po, kailangan pa nating hanapin talaga exactly kung alin ang midpoint. Unlike kapag compass and ruler ang gamit natin, so all we need to do is to locate or put the pointy end of the compass onto the endpoints of the sides of triangles. And then, yung opening ng compass, kailangan lang more than half. And then, pwede na tayong maggawa ng semicircle or ng arc above and below the line. So, that's how we can construct perpendicular bisectors. And ano nga po ba ulit ang perpendicular bisectors? So, a perpendicular bisector of a side does not have to start at a vertex. So, yun yung malinaw ngayon. Unlike the median and unlike the altitude na kailangan mag-uumpisa sa vertex ng ating triangle, ang perpendicular bisector po ay hindi. So, kailangan niya lang ay midpoint at nakakapag-form siya ng 90-degree angle. Again, pwedeng compass, hindi mo na kailangang sukatin ang side para mahanap lang ang midpoint. sundan lang natin yung step-by-step procedure at mahahanap natin yung midpoint. Or pwede namang ruler, measure man natin yung side, and then hanapin yung midpoint, saka tayo maggagamit ng protractor. Basta ang importante po dito, hindi siya mag-uumpisa sa vertex, kasi mag-uumpisa siya sa gitna, or matatagpuan natin siya at the middle of the side, and then 90 degrees siya. So, kaya po may word din dyan na bisect, kasi nga nahahati niya into two congruent portions yung side. Okay? So, 90-degree angles yung mafu-form kapag meron tayong perpendicular bisectors. So, here also, meron din tayong tawag dun sa point of intersection. At ang tawag natin dun ay ang circumcenter. So, bakit nga ba siya tinawag na circumcenter? Because, if we are going to form a circle and inscribe yung triangle dun sa circle, that means, halimbawa, gamit ulit tayo ng compass, dito natin ilalagay yung pointy end ng compass, and then dito yung may pen. So, i-open natin siya hanggang dun sa end point of the triangle, or one vertex of the triangle. So, kapag nalagay na natin ng ganon, and then iniikot natin ngayon yung compass na hindi binabago yung kanyang opening, so, ibig sabihin, maiikutan niya ng saktong-sakto etong triangle. Okay? So, kaya tinawag na ito ay circumcenter, kasi kapag naggawa tayo ng circle at na-inscribe niya itong triangle, iisa po ang distance ng point na ito doon sa bawat vertices ng triangle. Okay? So, let me show you a short clip on how we can form circumcenter in a triangle using these perpendicular bisectors. Okay? So, this is the short clip. Panoorin po ulit saglit. Okay, so get your compass, put the pointy end on the point of intersection of the three perpendicular bisectors, and then on the other side, yung pen natin, kailangan nandun siya sa vertex ng triangle, and then rotate it 360 degrees onto the triangle, and it shows that the circumcenter or the point of intersection makes the vertices equidistant from each other. Okay? Ayan. So, malinaw na ngayon kung paano at bakit tinawag na circumcenter ang point of intersection ng perpendicular bisectors. Now, let us have another example of perpendicular bisector. So, in this case, wala tayong markings. Ang meron tayo ay measurement itself. So, given ng measurement ng line segment AD, so this one, ayan. So, 3.2 daw ito, 3.2 centimeters. And then, yung line segment DC ay 3.2 centimeters din daw. So, congruent sila. That means, meron tayong midpoint. At dun sa midpoint na yon, matatagpuan yung 90-degree angle or yung ating right angle na, ibig sabihin nun, perpendicular itong ray DE kay side AC. So, perpendicular ang ray DE dito kay side AC using this information. Okay? Next. So, any point on the perpendicular bisector of a segment is equidistant from the endpoints of the segment. So, kahit saan man tayo maglagay ng point dito sa perpendicular bisector, sabi dito, line AB. Ayan, line AB is a perpendicular bisector of the line segment CD. So, kahit saan tayo maglagay ng point dito sa perpendicular bisector na to, iisa ang magiging distance niya dun sa endpoint. Okay? So, like this one, ayan yung point natin. That means, iisa yung distance niya from this point to point C. Ganon din dito, point or this point papunta dito kay point D. Equal yung distance. Same as kahit nandun siya sa pinakadulo ng perpendicular bisector natin at i-compare natin yung measurements na yan, so congruent pa rin sila. Okay? From this point, ayan, pag sinabing equidistant, another term po yan, ibig sabihin ay equal distance. So, nadadagdagan yung information natin na mga possible na pwede nating isolve, di ba? Kanina may midpoint lang, so ibig sabihin mahahati yung sides, and then meron tayong perpendicular, ibig sabihin may 90 degrees. Ngayon, meron pang equidistant or equal distance. So, from any point on the perpendicular bisector up to the end point of the line segment, they are equidistant or equal distance. Okay? Okay, so that's another information about the perpendicular bisector or the point on the perpendicular bisector. Another thing is about the circumcenter. So, as I've said earlier, kapag nagdraw tayo ng circle from this circumcenter gamit ang compass, dito yung point end, dito yung pencil or yung pen, at kapag iniikot natin siya at nag-form tayo ng circle, matadaanan lahat yung vertices. So that means kapag meron tayong line segment from the vertices papunta dito sa circumcenter or from circumcenter to the vertices, yung mga line segments na yan ay equal ang measurement. So kung halimbawa ito ay 8, ay di lahat po itong segment na ito ay 8. Kasi equidistant sila from the circumcenter papunta dun sa vertices. Okay? So tandaan po yan. Now, ano ngayon ang difference ng median, altitude, and perpendicular bisector? Ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba-iba nila? So, these are some of the different segments na na-form natin sa triangle in the past few videos na meron tayo. So, ang median po ay ang line segment that starts at the vertex and ends at the midpoint of the opposite side. At ang point of intersections ng mga medians ay tinatawag na centroid. Again, pag median po, nag-uumpisa siya sa vertex. And then, magtatapos siya sa midpoint. So, kung natatandaan ninyo kung paano pagawin ang median, mas maganda po. Or kung nakalimutan nyo na, I will link the video down below dun sa ating description box para mabalikan ninyo kung ano nga ba ang median. And we also have the altitude. So, ang altitude ay kagaya ni median, nag-uumpisa siya sa vertex. Tandaan po, it starts from the vertex. Okay? And then, makakapag-form daw ng 90-degree angle with the line containing the opposite side. Okay? So, ang tawag naman natin sa point of intersection ay orthocenter. So, ang pinagkaiba ni median at ni altitude is that ang median kailangan ay nasa midpoint mapupunta yung another endpoint ng line segment. Dito naman sa altitude, kailangan start siya sa vertex, so tulad sila doon, pero kailangan po 90 degree yung mafu-form dun sa opposite side niya. So, hindi kailangan na nasa gitna yung altitude or hindi kailangan na hanapin ang midpoint kapag hinahanap ang altitude. And for the perpendicular bisector, parang combination ni median at ni altitude kasi kailangan natin yung midpoint na nagbabisect dun sa line segment at kailangan makapag-form ng 90 degrees. Kaya lang, ang pinagkaiba niya is, eto, hindi kailangan mag-start sa vertex. Okay? At ang tawag po sa point of intersection ng mga perpendicular bisectors ay ang circumcenter. So, ito yung kailangan nating tandaan when it comes to median, altitude, and perpendicular bisector. In figure form, ito siya. So, median, we have the centroid, and again, from vertex to the midpoint, vertex to the midpoint, vertex to the midpoint. Then, for the altitude, so we have this triangle, at ang tawag sa point of intersections ay orthocenter. So, from vertex, papunta sa opposite side, kailangan makapag-form ng 90 degrees. Again, from vertex to the opposite side. So, hindi kailangan na mahanap natin si midpoint dito. Ang kailangan lang dito ay makapag-form ng 90 degrees from the vertex up to the midpoint. So, kung nakalimutan na rin po kung paano magawa ng altitude, again, I will put the link down below on the description box para mabalikan nyo on how we can construct altitudes of a triangle. Then, for the perpendicular bisector, again, ayan po, hindi niya kailangang mag-umpisa sa vertices. Dito, kailangan niyang mag-umpisa sa midpoint. So, kung ruler at protractor ang gagamitin natin, so, kailangan pa nating sukatin at hanapin kung alin ang midpoint. Pero kung compass na po, diretso na natin yon as long as sinunod natin yung steps on how we can form the perpendicular bisector. Okay? So, ang point of intersection ng mga perpendicular bisectors ay tinatawag na circumcenter. Okay? So, next, ano naman po ang itsura ng perpendicular bisectors of triangles and its circumcenter? So, the circumcenter of a triangle is the point of concurrency of three perpendicular bisectors of a triangle. So, kagaya nung iba, may point of intersection nga po. Now, kapag acute triangle yung meron tayo, ayan, ang circumcenter ay matatagpuan inside the triangle. Tandaan, inside the triangle. For the right triangle, ang circumcenter naman ay nasa hypotenuse. Again, circumcenter ng right triangle ay nasa hypotenuse. Kung sa altitude at right triangle ang pinag-uusapan, ang orthocenter ay nandun mismo sa vertex kung saan nandun yung 90-degree angle ng triangle itself. Dito naman sa circumcenter, nasa hypotenuse mismo. And then, kapag naman obtuse triangle, so, ang kanyang circumcenter ay outside na ng triangle. So, kagaya rin ng sa altitude, nasa labas na din. Again, ang circumcenter ng obtuse triangle ay outside the triangle. Okay? So, now, let's have few questions to answer para masabi natin na alam na nga talaga natin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng perpendicular bisectors. Okay, for our first question, sabi dito, fill in the blank with the correct term. Choose your answer below. So, the statement says that a perpendicular bisector of a segment is blank, equidistant from the endpoints of the segment. Yun daw bang line segment, ray, or line mismo na tinatawag na perpendicular bisector ay always, sometimes lamang, or never talagang naging equidistant from the endpoints of the sides or the segment. So, the answer here is always. And then here, in triangle ABC, one of the perpendicular bisector is blank. Alin ngayon dito ang line segment, ang line or ray na tinatawag nating perpendicular bisector? Kailangan po nasa midpoint siya at sa midpoint siya nakapag-form ng 90-degree angle. Is it line segment BH? So, from vertex to the opposite side that is perpendicular to it. We also have line segment BG, and also we have line segment BD, or itong line BE, o baka naman itong line segment DF. Again, pag sinabing perpendicular bisector, it should be at the middle and it forms 90-degree angle. And it's no other than line DE or ED, okay? So, line DE or line ED. Next, which of the figure describes perpendicular bisector? So, using these figures, alin dyan ang may markings na kagayang-kagaya ng isang perpendicular bisectors? Ang sabi po, ang perpendicular bisectors ay nasa gitna and at the same time, nakakapag-form siya ng 90 degrees. So, sabay dapat yung nagpapakita na may midpoint tayo and at the same time, meron tayo nung 90-degree angle. Okay? So, it's no other than, so ito ba yun? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? The answer is number 5. So, ito siya. Ayan yung nagpapakita na perpendicular kasi may 90-degree angle at bisector kasi meron tayong ganitong markings na nagsasabi na sila ay congruent segment. Okay? Number 4. In triangle ABC, ito siya. Line DE is perpendicular bisector of side AC. So, dun pa lang sa dineclare sa statement, line DE daw ay perpendicular bisector. So, that means this forms 90-degree angle. So, sabi dito, if AD is 2y plus 4, nasan yung AD? Ito siya, from this point up to this point, 2y plus 4 daw. And line segment CD, so from this papunta dito, ay y plus 12. So, y plus 12. And measure angle EDC. EDC. So, yung tinutukoy na angle EDC is etong angle na ito mismo. Sabi yan ay 5 times x minus 12 or 5 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 12 degrees. Find the value of x and y and the length of AD, DC, and AC. So, paano nga ba natin makukuha yung value ng x? So, dun muna tayo sa x. Asan ba yung x? Yung mismong angle. 5 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 12. 5 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 12. So, to form an equation, saan nga ba natin siya pwedeng equal or i-relate? Sabi, ito yan yung angle na yan. At ano bang measurement kapag ganyan yung symbol natin? At pag sinabing perpendicular, syempre yan po ay may 90 degrees. So, using this equation, we can find the value of x. Magkakaroon tayo ng 5x minus 60 is equals to 90. Then, additive inverse of negative 60, that's positive 60. So, 5x is equals to 90 plus 60, that's 150. Then, divide both sides by 5 to eliminate the numerical coefficient of x. So, matitira na lang po ay x is equals to 30. So, the value of x daw po dito sa ating 5 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 12 is 30. So, lalagyan ko ba yan ng degree measure? So, hindi na po kailangan kasi value of x lang naman po yung tinatanong. Now, for the value of y, alin ang gagamitin nating information? So, meron tayo ditong 2y plus 4 and y plus 12. At anong masasabi natin dyan sa 2y plus 4 na yan at sa y plus 12? So, these two portions of this side are, okay, correct. Sila ay congruent. Bakit sila congruent? Kasi may midpoint po tayo na dinaanan noong perpendicular bisector at yun ay nandito sa point D. So, now they are equal. We have to do is to solve it algebraically. So, 2y minus y is equals to 12 minus 4. And 2y minus y is y. 12 minus 4 is 8. So, the value of y daw po ay 8. And to check that, and since tinatanong naman din kung ano ang measurement ng line segment AD, so i-substitute natin. 2y plus 4 means 2 times 8 plus 4. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 4 is 20. Okay, so the line segment AD is 20. So, dapat yung line segment CD ay 20 din. Y plus 12. Ang y ay 8. And then add sa 12, 8 plus 12 is 20. So, tama naman ang nakuhang measurements, parehong 20. So, that means they are really congruent. And tinatanong din po yung measurement ng side AC. To find the measurement of side AC, kailangan lang nating i-add ang line segment AD at saka line segment CD. And that's 20 plus 20 equals to 40. So, for side AC, the measurement is 40. Okay? So, that's how we solve problem involving perpendicular bisector. Tandaan lang, pag sinabing perpendicular, makakapag-form siya ng 90-degree angle at pag sinabing bisector, dinidivide niya into two congruent portions yung side. So, makakapag-form tayo ng equation. Okay? So, now, tapos na tayo sa ating last and final example. Ito na nga pala ang ating last and final example. Now, you can try to solve for the missing values on this task number 3 using the concept of perpendicular bisector of a triangle. So, now, let's test yourselves. So, tingnan natin kung alam nyo na nga ba kung paano gamitin yung facts about perpendicular bisector. So, you can pause this video every other item para makapag-solve kayo and then write on the comment section kung ano ang sagot ninyo sa bawat items. Okay? So, first item. Line segment BD is the perpendicular bisector of side AC. Find X. So, this is side AC. Ito daw po ay perpendicular bisector. Ang pinapahanap ay value ng X. So, what are you going to do with 5X minus 6 and 3X plus 8? Okay? So, pause this video and solve for the value of X. Okay, number 2. So, in triangle DEG, line FH is a perpendicular bisector of side DG. So, perpendicular daw siya kay side DG at bisector din daw siya ng side na yon. So, with H on DG. So, yung H na yan ang tinatawag nating midpoint. Now, the question is, if this segment DH is 2y plus 3 and line segment GH is 7y minus 42, and measure angle FHG. So, alin ba yung FHG na yon? Ito siya. FHG daw po ay x squared plus 9 degrees. Find the value of x and y, and what is the measure of side DG? Hanapin nyo muna yung measurement ng x. So, using this information, x squared plus 9 daw po itong angle na to para mahanap nyo yung value ng x. And then, for the y, ang gagamitin yung information ay ang line segment DH. So, this one, from this point up to this point, that's 2y plus 3. And GH, from this end point up to the midpoint, so that's 7y minus 42. So, you can pause this video for a while and then solve for the value of x and the value of y. Next, number 3. So, again, triangle DEF and line segment GI is a perpendicular bisector of this triangle. Find x if line segment EH. So, alin ba yon? So, this one. 16 daw po ang measurement niyan. 16. At ang common point nila ay itong H. Ang H ay nasa perpendicular bisector. So, kanina nabanggit natin yung about sa point na yan at sa magiging segment from this point up to the vertex. So, dapat alam niyo na po kung paano isolve ito. Again, EH is 16 and FH is 7x minus 5. So, what is the value of x? Again, pause this video for a while and solve for your answer. Number 4. So, for number 4, in triangle DEF, line segment GI is a perpendicular bisector. So, ito yon. Line segment GI, perpendicular bisector daw siya. Find y if EG is 3y minus 1. So, yung E to G ay 3y minus 1 daw po. And yung F to G or FG ay 2y plus 5. Anong relationship ng dalawang yan? Paano natin masosolve yan? 3y minus 1 and 2y plus 5. So, pause this video again and then solve for the value of y at later on, lagay nyo sa comment box kung ano ang answer nyo sa bawat item. Okay? Number 5, and for the last item, triangle DEF pa rin, line segment GI is a perpendicular bisector. Ibig sabihin, itong GI na to nakapag-form ng 90 degree with side EF. Now, the question is, find Z if angle FGH. So, F to G to H is 15Z. So, 15Z daw po yan. Ano kaya daw ang value nung Z? Okay? So, pause this video, solve for the value of Z, and then, kapag nalagay nyo na at nasagutan nyo na lahat ng meron sa 5 questions, lagay nyo na po sa comment section yung inyong mga sagot. Okay? So, that's all for this video, and I hope you learned something from this. Again, perpendicular bisectors are another line segment that we can form in a triangle. So, you can use protractor and ruler or the compass and the ruler to illustrate or to construct your own perpendicular bisectors. So, when we say perpendicular bisectors, these are the line segments that are formed from the midpoint of the sides that are perpendicular. So, kailangang mahanap si midpoint at kailangan makapag-form tayo ng line segment na perpendicular sa midpoint na yon. And the point of intersections of all the line segments that are called as perpendicular bisectors, ang tawag natin dun sa point of intersection niya ay ang circumcenter. So, that means, kapag nagawa tayo ng circle outside the triangle na nakaposition dun sa circumcenter na yon up to the endpoints of the triangle, so may ikutan niya lahat ng endpoints ng triangle. Which also means that the circumcenter is equidistant from the vertices. Okay? So, wag kakalimutan ang facts about the word perpendicular. So, nakakapag-form ng 90 degrees. Pag sinabi namang bisector, nahahati niya sa gitna. Pag sinabi pong equidistant, equal distance po sila. So, that's all. And again, thank you for watching this video lesson. Huwag niyong kalimutang i-like, i-share, at mag-subscribe na rin kayo on this channel para sa mga susunod pang lesson about mathematics. Okay? So, God bless everyone. Keep safe. Bye-bye!